It's just silly. Who needs this? Don't get me wrong, there are definitely some niche use cases for shooting 120 photos per second. Look at sports, some wildlife, fast action, even some studio work where you're trying to capture that precise moment. I personally don't want to go through 120 photos every time I click the shutter. One of the reasons I don't shoot in 120 frame bursts, aside from having to go through thousands of photos, is I prefer to shoot in RAW whenever possible. And this is just due to the editing latitude that provides. I'll put some specs on the screen about the Nikon Z8, but when you're shooting 120 frame bursts, you are limited to 11 megapixel JPEGs. There's nothing wrong with 11 megapixel photos. I mean, 4K is around 8.3 megapixel, so it's still quite usable. But since I don't use that 120 frame burst, and I have the capability to, it got me thinking, what should I do with it? Since video is basically just a flipbook of pictures, I thought, why not make some short video clips out of it? I know this is probably one of those just because you can doesn't mean you should moments. And yeah, it's video with extra steps. But I have a toy and I want to play with it, and I think it'd be fun. There are going to be some challenges with this. Obviously I want to shoot something with motion, and being out doing wildlife and birds, can't really stage anything, so we're just going to have to look for the opportune moment. And two, the weather's being a little British today. Kind of misty rain here and there, so the lighting's not most ideal. In theory, this is pretty straightforward. With 120 photos, you can play that back on a 30 frame per second timeline. So each photo will be one frame, or 1/30th of a second, leading to a 4-second video. I'm going to wander around a bit, look for some opportunities to get some shots, and then we'll take all those back home, put them in Final Cut, and see what comes out. Something we need to consider when doing this is our shutter speed. Since we're shooting photos for video, we don't want every single frame to be tack sharp. To get a natural motion blur with 120 frames per second, we would shoot about a 1/240th shutter speed. I think we're going to probably shoot somewhere in that range, or about 1/500th. We want just a little bit of blur in there so this doesn't turn into a super choppy video. As I'm sure you noticed, I am shooting on a tripod. And normally when shooting photos, I wouldn't use a tripod, but since we're doing this for video, I want to eliminate any of that shake that could come from being handheld, just to see if we can get it as smooth as possible. God, this kills my knees. Really haven't been shooting anything particular, just whatever pops up. This is more for a test than just for fun, because I feel like doing it. I think we'll get a handful more shots and then head back and see what comes of it. Just so you're aware, that sound is just fake. This technically just shoots silent. It's just an added effect, just so you can see what I'm shooting. Whew. All right, now we got about 3,000 photos of random stuff. We have to sort through it a little bit, but we'll take it into Final Cut and see what we can do with it. Now that we got all our photos into Final Cut, all 3,417 of them, this is ridiculous by the way, we can take and start dropping these on our timeline and putting it together. And we'll use this sequence to demonstrate what I'm talking about. We'll take the first shot in the sequence and scroll all the way down here to the end of the sequence and drag and drop this on our timeline. And if we zoom out here, you can see these are just a bunch of individual photos. Now what we're going to do is hit Control D, just change the duration, and hit this to 1. What this is going to do is change each photo's duration to 1 frame. And since we are on a 30 frame per second timeline, each photo will display for 1/30th of a second. Now you can see 1/30th of a second for each photo results in video. So I'm going to go through this. It's going to be a lot to go through and compile it, and then at the end I'll show you the results. Now that we've got our photos on the timeline, and I didn't include all of them just so the duration wasn't too long, but just look at this. It's kind of a silly looking timeline if you ask me. But anyway, what you're about to watch is 1,800 photos played back in rapid succession. It's literally just a digital flipbook. Well, there you go. I would say this experiment was moderately successful. Now, was there any practical application to this? Not that I can think of. And should you ever do it? I really don't know why you would. But I had fun, and I found it interesting. I hope you did too.